Welcome to Series 2. Here at JCM, we are super excited that you guys are with us. For those of you who watched Series 1, we pray that it blessed you, but we are excited to start Series 2 today. I don't know about you, but all of us at one point or another have had to go to the doctor. Either it begins with, making a call because you don't feel well or just, a regular checkup, but all of us have had to go to the doctors before. Back when I was in middle school and high school, I would go to the doctors a lot. I was playing soccer, I was traveling, I was growing, and at the same time, I was very prone to sinus infections. So I would go to the doctors quite a bit. And the doctor that I would visit, her name was Dr. Hannah. She was a general care doctor, primary care physician, actually. So she was a great doctor. And if you remember, when you would go to the doctor's office, they make you wait in like the waiting room, and then you wait to be seen by one of the nurses. The nurses would take you to the main room where you were gonna have your consultation. So I remember the room that I would go and wait for Dr. Hannah. It had like this long table, and it had like a brown cushion on it that would recline. I don't know if you've seen some of those. And then on top of the cushion, there was like a white. It looked like a parchment paper actually, but it would cover the whole cushion. And after every visit, the paper would be replaced. But I remember just always sitting there, waiting, sitting on the cushion, reclining. I'm just kind of patiently waiting for Dr. Hannah to come and see me. And every time she would come in, I remember she would always come in with a stack of papers. I know nowadays a lot of things are computerized, so sometimes the doctors will come in with a computer, an iPad, or some kind of tablet. But my doctor, she'd come in with like a stack of paper. And sometimes it was colored, sometimes it was just regular paper. But she would have her stack of paper, and she would start and she asked me, "Hey, how are you? How's your day going?" And then she'd ask me, "Okay, what are you in for? How are you feeling? Yada yada." And then she would write. But I would notice that she had a lot of papers, and she'd be writing. Then she'd flip through one sheet and then continue writing and things like that. And when I was young, I was always questioning her, what are all the papers for? What what is she writing on all of these papers? And I'd be very curious, like, what's all in there? One time, being the curious young kid that I was, I asked the doctor. I go, "Doctor, what are you writing, or why do you have so many papers?" And she told me, she goes, "Jason, I am writing what I'm seeing, I am writing what I'm hearing, and I am writing what's going to make you better." And that always stuck with me. It's like, okay, her notes contain what she's seeing, what she's hearing, and some of the things she recommends that are going to make me feel better. And I liked that because I kind of got the idea of what it was that she was writing. In the Bible, there is a doctor in particular that he did the same thing. He wrote what he was seeing, what he was hearing, and what was going to make the people better. And this doctor, we find his name and his credentials in the book of Colossians, chapter 4, excuse me, verses 14. And this person's name is Luke, and his credentials are he is a physician. Colossians 4:14 says, "Luke, the beloved physician." In other words, Luke, the beloved doctor. Now, Luke is a great doctor. He is a very interesting doctor because if you see Luke, Luke wrote almost 38,000 words in Greek. That is 38,000 words in Greek. And out of those 38,000 words that he wrote in his papers and on his sheets, for us, it is divided into two main books. It is divided into the book of Luke and the book of Acts. And within that, the whole thing is divided into 52 sections, or better yet, 52 chapters. And within all of these 52 chapters, we see what Dr. Luke was seeing, what he was hearing, and things that were going to make people better, things that were going to make the readers better, and was going to change their lives. And in these next 7 weeks, we want to take a look at all of these notes that the doctor wrote. What is it that he wrote? What was he seeing? What was he hearing? and what things were on there that were going to make us better. That's what we want to do for the next few weeks. So when we look at everything he wrote and the two sections, we have Luke and we have the book of Acts. Now, the book of Luke is a great book. This book is one of the four gospels, and if you begin to look at its content, it is the most it has the most content volume wise out of all of the four gospels. If you begin to break it down, even though it only has 24 chapters, the book of Luke only has 24 chapters, but you begin to look at it from its content wise, it has almost 19,000 words in its original Greek. Now, the book of Luke was written in the year 55 after Christ, and it was written by a Gentile for Gentiles. If we look at Luke, Luke was Greek. So he was not a Jew, he was Greek. And this book in particular was for the Gentiles. Now, when we look at Gentiles, we look at everybody that was not a Jew. So it didn't matter what your race was, where you came from. A Gentile was anybody that just was not a Jew. So it's interesting because when you begin to read the book of Luke, you see all of his notes, everything that he wrote, everything that he saw. It was directed to everybody, no matter their race, no matter their nationality, no matter their skin color. Everything that Luke wrote was directed and had some application to everybody in spite of their race or wherever they were from. In other words, everything we read is for you and for everything that the doctor wrote in the book of Luke can be applied to you and myself. Then we see the book of Acts, which is a book that I really, really love, because the book of Acts is a book that has almost 35 years of content in it. It begins with the ascension of Jesus, and then it ends around 62 after Christ. And this book was written in the year 60 after Christ. But this book, the book of Acts, is an amazing book because it had 35 years of content, and it is the link between the Gospels and the epistles. It is a powerful link. And out of all of the books in the Bible, the book of Acts is one of those books that if you begin to look at it, it's a book that continues. It continues throughout today because in the book of Acts, we see a lot of miracles, a lot of things that happen that continue to move on today. So over the next few weeks, we're going to look at Luke. We're going to look at the book of Acts and see all of the notes that were in there and actually look and see what stands out of all of those notes that we see in there and what is it that we can apply to ourselves. So I encourage you to stay tuned over the next few weeks because we're going to skim over the books and see what jumps out and what we can apply to ourselves. So set on a reminder, do whatever you have to do, that every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be looking at these notes. I pray for you. I pray that you are encouraged over the next few weeks, and make sure you stay tuned. God bless you.